problems that they create for themselves are idiots.
Word.
So like nothing he does surprise me, and it has no effect on me because like you know how you usually try to stand up for your people and shit, but they keep doing dumb shit. Even if you're gonna have that fun, why you need to put it on YouTube? I mean Facebook. Just have fun. If you do dumb shit like that, go ahead and do it.
Like Nike.
But you gonna I say I don't have no sympathy for that shit.
Yeah. Like I wasn't necessarily. I was just asking because they had brought the shit up, and a lot of people said they think it's excessive. 25 games is excessive.
I thought that at first until you got to realize that
Like I know, I get it. Trust me.
No, we got to realize that those people sign contracts and they have certain things to do and that they can and can't do. So, like I said, I just don't get why you would keep doing that. Why you would keep posting stuff on your social media page that they already warned you for. You already got suspended for it once, and you're gonna do it again. It don't make sense to me.
Well, that's why I don't feel bad for him
right.
as far as that go. Because I mean, ultimately, you know what happened. You know what I mean? Nah, I would just honestly though. I mean, I don't feel. He wouldn't be suspended for 25 games if he didn't do the dumb shit. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it at that as far as that goes. But yeah, your boy Trump got indicted.
Trump told everybody y'all better make sure y'all so he said, make sure y'all protest. Cause if anything happened to me, I know my people gonna protest. Ain't nobody protest for this.
They did that shit in January 6th. They did that shit, what, 2020? 2021, they did that?
They learned their lesson.
You think so? You really think people learn their lesson?
Where they at?
They just doing this shit in secret now. That's all that is. They ain't been
people speaking to me.
They ain't been out in the open. Yeah, that's Vanessa.
Hey, what? That's a hey, Cammy. Queen Nessa.
No, that's Ladybug said hey, Cammy. Vanessa said hey, Queen.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, look, I didn't know.
It's all good. Man, what else happened, yo? I haven't really seen too much else in the news. I keep pulling up the hot news. Oh, here we go.
I've been on strike from all that shit for a minute.
What, the news and shit?
Man, this shit crazy.
Hey, sis. I see sis in the building.
What up? But yeah,
I
conversation about
I heard he got his tooth pulled.
The Juneteenth thing was nice.
Word.
It needed a little better. The entertainment wasn't as much as a party as it was the other years.
Oh yeah, Juneteenth celebration. Yes.
The gospel section went on forever, and which is no problem. The real entertainment like the other years was just not there for me. They had one go-go band and the Belladonna played for 15 whole minutes.
I heard.
Soon as everybody started partying. That joint was over.
So they only was allotted 15 minutes.
They got on the stage and played for 15 minutes. After all those other performers played all that time, even some of the performances, they had breaks in between the performances where there was no music on at all.
My boy did
So
his thing though. I don't
how
care.
long did Rakim perform?
He performed for at least 45 minutes.
Yep. I was gonna say 35 minutes.
He was nice though. It was just, you know, we are we are we're a melting pot for music. And one of our main musics, like we listen to everything. We listen to house music, um, go-go. Um, there was no go-go really all day. Like it really wasn't doing nothing.
A lot of
They,
people was mad about that.
yeah, line dance. I only heard like 2 line dances. I don't know. You know, the other years we was line dancing up a storm. But all in all, it still was a good day. It just I like the entertainment better the other 2 years. They had a lot of good
Well, a lot,
vendors
like
out
I said, people, a lot of people were saying they they wasn't going because it wasn't no real go-go, not no real go-go, but it wasn't no long go-go set.
Is that ice love? That's why they do DJ Ice Love.
More than like Joy said they was behind
yeah.
schedule. What up, Joy?
And that's another thing that's starting to happen a lot.
Oh yeah, we going to that. We going to the family day. We locked and loaded for that one, baby.
That's another thing that's happening. They were now tents this year. It was I don't know. It just they took away a few things that made it more
You
comfortable.
couldn't have tents.
Yeah.
That's
And
weak.
last year and the year before, people had tents and there was no problem. It was like you sitting out in an open field. How y'all doing? It's like 300 degrees out that bitch. The sun is beaming down on you.
That's wild.
And people,
Bird Fest taught us though. We know how to beat that sun.
the good thing about it, the what's the name? You know, the people were so friendly and the environment atmosphere was so cool. We had one little incident that little girls fighting.
I know that was real. Your boy, hurry up and disperse that. That didn't happen. Even when it happened, it was fast and.
Yeah, I tried to help him. I grabbed the big girl, and she like, get off me. I said, no. I said, babe, you ready to go jail or get shot up? They got MR16s running around here. Y'all want to be out here fighting? They walk around with machine guns and shit on them. I said, babe, you going to jail. So if I let you go, you can have it.
Right. What up, Riri? But yo, listen.
How about Reed?
I had to work. I would have wanted to see Rakim, but I had to work, so
But I saw that.
I ain't gonna miss the family day. I'm gonna be out for the family day, John.
We out there, baby.
Absolutely, we're gonna be out there. We're gonna be out there for the family day.
We need to
We're
make
gonna,
sure stuff
So
happens.
Mikey was so happy to see me. He ain't gonna tell people though. He was bored till I got there.
Yeah, Riri said he came.
Oh, I was all the way up at a fish fry.
I saw that. That's why when Campbell said she saw you at the joint, I was like, well, shit. I thought he was
No, we just go up.
at a what's the name joint.
We ride out to support people. You know what I mean? You go there, buy some fish, sit, talk. All you do is talk about damn motorcycles the whole time. And then you go ahead on and go ahead and leave. You know, we met a lot of we keep seeing the same people over and over at these motorcycle events. That's what's cool. and we meet more people, and it's almost like networking. It's cool because these people come from all over the place. Like this dude that was there was from like Virginia. Like they didn't roll 4 hours and shit like that to get there. So it's cool to keep meeting these different people. That's why I keep going to all these events. I don't even stay long, about 2 hours, 3 hours. You chill, meet somebody, and go.
Word. No, I saw that. I was like, yo, he out at a bike joint. You know what I mean? But that's why on camera said your boy was down here. I said, oh shit, he must have came out. Last time I saw him, he was he was out doing something with his bike club or something. But I mean, a couple people said that they enjoyed the parade. They liked the parade. They said the parade was pretty dope.
Man, that parade was live.
Yeah.
It was.
Bugman was out there.
No.
Oh, you know it's live if Bugman come back. That's probably what it is. They need to bring Bugman back to the parade, Joe.
That's a long ass walk.
Rally for that, yo. He should be Grand Marshal for real.
I thought he was.
That's a long ass walk.
Because they started downtown, didn't they?
Yeah. Then coming up that hill.
They walked up Main Street.
Banging drums and dancing and shit the whole way.
That's live.
That's my people.
I ain't seen a parade in a minute, though. I need to go back.
Like that. We can do that.
Our parades that got weak for a while, they getting better.
That's what's up. Because they allowing new people to take over, yo. Like, it ain't the same people trying to lead the parades. You know what I mean? Like, they letting these new group youngins take over and do fun stuff, man. Like, that's what they should be doing anyway. Hold on. Ready to add. All right, we this is the couples conversation. Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
So you joined it.
We're gonna be in here, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And we're gonna be talking about the couples type of shit we do. You know, I'm sorry, you know, we got one couple waiting in the hallway. We're gonna invite the Johnsons in. What's going on?
What's going on, y'all?
Good evening.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good.
Hello, darling. Hello.
Hey, Cam.
I need to come see you, sis. It's about that time.
Yeah.
About that time. I need to come see you.
Come see me.
Yeah.
I just don't know when you was going bloom. So
Not till November. You got plenty of time.
Ooh. So is it close to the end of November?
It's November 10th.
Oh shit. I was trying to recruit another one.
Yeah,
I'm at the end of the month.
But
Congrats.
thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, look at Proud Papa over there. Okay, we see you, Professor.
You know what I mean? So tonight we're having a couples conversation, waiting for some more people to join us, but just wanted to talk about
We're waiting on my real friend.
relationship.
That's what we're waiting on, my real friend.
You gotta let me talk. Interrupting me. Can't keep interrupting me. This is a family show. We can't. But nah, we're having the couples talk. I just felt like it was a needed conversation as always.
Mhm.
And we can just sit and talk about certain things, that you don't really have a chance to. And just open up about topics that we discuss when it comes to being married or just being in a relationship or being in a couple. Because, as lately as we've been seeing, if you watch TV or not, people getting divorced left and right.
Mhm.
Or, you know what I mean? People get married, they stay married for about 6-7 months and then they ain't together no more. Or they start a relationship and they in a relationship for a little while and you look at them, they dating somebody else now. So, it's wild. It's wild. So, I mean, and I look at it like this because I feel like it's to a point now where people almost think like when you in a couple or you married or you in a relationship, like that's like unbelievable. Like something got to be wrong. Something got to be wrong. It got to be some reason why they together. They can't be just together because they in love and they happy and they want to be together. There got to be something else going on. as to why they together. And like it's crazy because people are just together because people are together. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, and they in love, and people want to be happy and shit. As my wife like to say, you need somebody to hand you the toilet paper sometime. So you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, listen, man.
Hey, it makes sense, don't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
why we laugh.
Somebody hand you
Who gonna bring you the
who
toilet
gonna bring you
paper?
the toilet paper?
Leave by the door.
Mhm.
Yep.
Folk can't just like I don't get that. I don't get that, bug. If you and DJ not doing nothing, please let me know. I can send you the link. Y'all are more than welcome to join us. But
Yeah, 'cause they've been together a long time.
you gotta absolutely you gotta like you can't people. I mean, we at a time like I said now where people can't just be like, you know what, they together because they together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, look at Esquire's sister.
Mhm.
Sure.
Like I said, let there go your auntie and your uncle.
He over there on the floor sleep.
Oh, that's why he don't play. He on the rug.
He aired
laid
out. Yeah, he getting his nap time now.
Sorry, Sky.
He be so quiet.
He the only person in the house that sleep like he got a job somewhere.
You want another one? Y'all want another one?
Don't stop trying to get.
Oh, so your dog is a person?
He lucky he here.
Oh,
He
Your dog
lucky.
is a person?
You said what?
I say, so your dog is a person is what you
He
trying
act
to tell
like
me?
it,
that's
Mikey.
that's how she act.
He act like he the only one in here that works somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how he eat. That's how he walk around here. Like
Mhm.
I'm trying to tell you,
And
He
bossy.
don't care about nothing in this joint. He don't really bark.
You said
a lot.
what Malona put?
Yeah, I'm sending her the link now. That's what I'm doing.
We got professors and doctors on here. Yo, we is not playing around with this black excellence in these schools.
Hey, listen, man. And but again, this is one of those things that people only think happens on movies or reality shows and shit. Like people really don't believe that there are couples who are happy and married and can be
Right.
successful, especially our people. I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean? Like I'm tired of watching all the housewife shows and where nobody's actually a housewife.
Right.
And the basketball wife shows where nobody's actually a basketball wife.
Yeah.
Or
I stopped
love
watching.
and hip hop, where love and hip hop, and ain't nobody hip hop or in love.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, and I feel like it's bringing us to a point, or like where we just looking at like people really, when you really see a couple that's successful, people just don't believe it.
Right.
They like it gotta be something else, man. I can't. Nah, they not just smiling because it's real. We happy because we happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we make each other happy. Yeah, I know it. See what I'm saying?
We happy.
So
I live here too.
when we do the couple talk, if y'all see my camera adjust, don't worry about it. Like I'm just, trying to adjust the setting to make sure y'all can see everybody. You know what I mean? So it's okay. There we go. That's better. I got it. Nah, but for the most part, man, I like to see people changing the narrative, and the people that I invited definitely I feel put a stamp on that black love thing, and they are very, very good example of it. Y'all definitely being one of those couples.
Thank
I for me, I'm rolling with her. We in here. You know what I mean? Like,
For a minute.
we ain't shooting at each other on camera. That's all. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's definitely Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It's definitely Mr. and Miss Smith. Once we click off, once this joint over, we go back to the guns and the booby traps and all that shit. It's like a Home Alone in here. For real. You never know what's gonna happen.
Y'all not going nowhere.
Not at all. For what? Hold on.
He's gonna cry like a little baby. And call Mikey. She loves me, man. She loves me.
terrible. See what I'm saying? People think because you're not dragging each other in public or social media, you fake, or so I've been
Yep.
told. That's absolutely what
Yep.
they think, yo. Like, but that, when did that become the norm? When did that become a situation where like that's a regular? Like, why isn't being in a happy relationship? Why isn't that a norm anymore? What y'all think about that? Like, why
People don't
isn't that a
share.
norm?
People don't share good stories anymore. You sit back and you be like, I ain't trying to brag on myself. I ain't trying to brag on my relationship. That's not bragging on your relationship. If you can get on here and tell all these bad stories about everything that go on in life, sometimes it's refreshing for other people to hear good stories, and we don't like to share good stories. But be the
Right.
first ones on here putting, oh yeah, my girl get on my damn nerves. All right, we know that, but when how you feel about it when she ain't getting on your nerves,
Mm-hmm.
or vice versa. We don't share good stories anymore.
They beef back and forth, and we see it. And then when y'all come back on here in love, and everybody's saying something, you be like, don't judge us. I'm like, you putting it out there that y'all don't really mess with each other, and then the next minute, y'all
Like,
out the mall hugged up, looking crazy.
and that's it too. People don't understand. That's Erica said that. Erica Taylor said I feel like people don't understand that it's not being fake. It's just not your business.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I remember I used to hear a lot was that if you never thought about, fighting, or if y'all don't argue anything like that, you really never been in love. We've been together. We'll be 5 years married. September, 6 years together.
We don't argue.
Yeah, we've never had except for one kinda, but it was more so me, and she just sat there and just watched me make a fool of myself.
And it was before we was married.
Even before we married, but we've never just fought.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I mean, yeah,
it takes. That's not weird though.
That's just y'all dynamic. That's what makes y'all work.
Yeah, like that.
I'm sorry, not weird to us, but I guess to other people that we've never.
Right, we'd be like, y'all never gone. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, we don't. But I'm not a person I'm not really getting into it with anybody. It's just me. So when he tried to think that that's what I wanted, he was like, because it's having to talk to you. I'm like, no, actually, this the opposite. You raising your voice just shut the whole conversation down. Like I'm leaving the room. I'm like, that is just not me. That's my love language. I'm not going back and forth with you if you're yelling at me.
I can dig it, and I mean, ultimately, that's the goal you're shooting for anyway.
Mm-hmm.
To not have to argue or fuss.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't look at like people that say if you ain't never argued, you're not really in love. Like, I don't get that. Like how bad was your life growing up that you feel like you gotta argue in order to be in love?
Right.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't post everything on social media, then your relationship isn't real. People think you hiding something.
We get that all the time.
But my thing of it is social media. It's social media. So I'm gonna socialize what I feel like I want to put out there. Like, I'm not gonna go on there and put out there like, oh, I got an argument. I'm mad. So now like, that don't make sense to me.
And
You know what I mean?
Kissing me 10 minutes later.
Then everybody looking at you crazy.
Only people actually think somebody's relationships are fake. People that's dealing with shit in their own relationship. Because like, if your relationship good, I ain't got time to figure out just because y'all ain't posting nothing, there's something going on with y'all. Right. People do that because their relationships be sour.
Facts.
Like with social media, for me, I talk too much trash, and then I decided to, by being single for all those years, I didn't want Rita to come across a bunch of nonsense going on with that Facebook shit. I ain't got nothing to hide. My life, I tell everybody anything I'm doing. I ain't got nothing to hide. Don't nobody really do nothing for me to make me have to hide anything.
Right.
It's just I'm gonna give you an example. I dance a lot when I go out. I post a picture of me and Rita. Now everybody act like I can't dance with nobody no more. And every time I walk around, somebody, I can't say nothing to you. How the fuck you can't say nothing to me?
Right.
Oh, your girl might. She ain't. For one thing, I wouldn't mess with nobody that think they got a fucking that I can't say nothing or do nothing whenever I feel like doing, because I'm not gonna do nothing disrespectful to her anyway. But I just don't. It's just a bunch of nonsense, and that's when I start realizing it's not me, it's them. They the ones with the issues. They the ones got some type of secret agenda going on. When I go out to have fun and go home. I damn sure ain't staying nowhere. I ain't got no excuses to not make it home, so I'm gonna make it home.
Right.
Right.
So it's just people got a lot going on in their lives, and when you slow down and you see the happiness in your own life and the potential and what you have for you and your mate, all that stuff that's going on outside these doors, that shit don't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just listen. I listen and I learn from other people in relationships. Like I love how Ice always complimenting his wife on Facebook all the time.
Right.
She always, you know what I'm saying? That you'll get 10 likes on that. But soon Ice come on in and tell how him and they had this big argument or something. You got 100 motherfuckers saying, I'm praying for you.
Right.
Pray for me when something's going good, please.
Everybody got a cool nickname. We need to change ours.
Yeah.
We just got Rick and Chris.
Yeah. Hey, Mikels.
Yeah,
Yo, good evening.
Trial.
Thank y'all for joining us here in the couples conversation.
Trial.
What is that? Is that my thing?
back hurt.
Hey, Bug, I sent you the link too, Lady Bug.
Wow.
Whenever y'all want to join, you ready. But so we just talking about, you know, how social media and reality TV has kind of made marriage look like a like it's not real when you actually
Trial.
you know happy. We got the
Trial.
Hawkins as well with us. Hello, everybody. I keep hearing something say trial.
Okay,
Who's
so
that?
we.
Is that?
I don't know. We heard it too. We like looking to
Wow.
see if it's us.
Yes. You got another window.
Turn that off. Wait till Rita get out the toilet.
How many do not
Hey, yo.
like this?
Trial.
That's what you get for coming in late.
That's TMI.
It's not nothing of mine.
No, we got the good
Trial.
spray though.
I don't know what that is.
No, we hear it too.
Hold on.
Trial.
Everybody's on.
Trial.
What is that?
See, Allen got that damn shoestring cable running over his neighbor house.
Trial.
You still got
I ain't
this
pointing
music.
fingers, but we ain't hearing till the Mikels come on.
No, we muted. Yeah, we
Jones
muted.
Pass.
Trial.
Trial.
I keep saying trial.
You're saying trial.
You
Trial.
still hear it? I don't hear nothing. What y'all hear?
Trial.
Like some woman, she keeps saying trial.
Trial.
I don't know what that is.
I don't hear that at all.
Trial.
I don't know what that is.
Dante, you on mute if you're talking.
It's not me. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not coming from my computer.
Yeah, we just checked. We
Trial.
can hear it.
Trials and tribulations. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate that. That's gonna be the new topic
Trial.
of tonight's show. Trials and tribulations. That's where we're gonna go.
Mhm.
Joey said a white lady trying to get her.
Trial.
Hey, somebody got Dante on mute.
I don't know.
Let's see if it
Who is
stopped.
it?
I told you it was him.
Did it stop?
Uh-huh. Yep, it was like
Yep.
Oh man. Ice on that tip.
It's a trial.
I said you ain't here.
That's it. That's it.
Boy said the white lady tried.
That's it.
Your white lady tried to get us, Joe.
30 days is over with.
The AOL.
It's 30 days is over with.
Right.
That's because they're the infamous. That's
Yeah.
It's because they're the infamous. That's why I kept saying trial.
I still can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Trial.
That's ice, yo.
That's
Trial.
it's coming from you, Ice. The trial thing, yo.
The trial lady at your house.
Use your DJ mic.
Oh, Kim, that shit.
That nigga watching pronouns.
John, he's done.
That's the trial.
But
Trial.
so, y'all just joining us. Thank you. But again,
Trial.
we started off just with how certain things with social media and just with reality TV has kind
Trial.
of taken relationship and put it in like this crazy box where when you
Trial.
actually have a good relationship that's successful, people don't believe it. And we're trying to figure out how we got there. How we got to the
Trial.
point where we have to speak about your
Trial.
relationship to the point where you almost defending it, maybe. Where somebody said, well, y'all ain't did this yet. You like, oh, well, like Chris and Ricky said, they haven't argued. They've been together, married for 5 years and haven't had an argument. That's dope.
Trial.
But you have some people that would think that that's not feasible. It's impossible to be in a relationship when
Trial.
you don't argue. Like, and I don't understand how we got there. You know what I mean? So that's
Trial.
what we started off talking about.
I'm here. It's loud as go.
Now we got everybody in here. I'm gonna start off
Trial.
with this. We're gonna start with hold on, wait a minute. Y'all changed the name to Loving R&B. Okay.
Everybody had cool nicknames. We ain't want to just be Chris and Rick.
Right.
Dynamic duo, the infamous. Y'all see the Allens, you know.
Right.
Trial.
I don't know.
Maybe they just need to meet until it's time for them
I
to
think
speak.
Trial.
it's something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, 'cause we
Trial.
I think it's something with y'all joint, yo.
They already on me.
We can't even hear you,
I
Ice.
can't hear you.
He on me.
I told you use the phone.
I'm gonna resend him the link. Yo, I'm gonna resend you the link, Ice, if you can hear me. But
I'll text Kiana.
so Loving R&B. We're gonna start there. When did y'all know that you was the one? Each other was the one. When did you know?
I ask you that probably like once a month just to see if the story gonna change.
Go ahead.
All right,
So I see if I want to change it.
you gonna see if you change it. One that I know she was one. I knew Chris was the one. Well probably when the first time we kissed, it's like when I kissed it, it's like I don't want to ever kiss nobody again ever in my life. And when we did, like we went to a football game, and we was just going as friends. We wasn't planning to go as a romantic couple. But by the end of what happened was we didn't get into the game because she had a purse and we couldn't get into the stadium with a purse. So we sitting outside the stadium pretty much the whole time, just listening to it on the phone, and we were just vibing the whole time. And then we eventually got in at the very end, but I didn't even care about the game at that point. I was just into her. And then we was at a metro station, and I said, "Listen," I said, "you keep on playing with me, I'm gonna kiss you." And then next thing you know, we kissed, and it's like I'm gonna sound dramatic.
It's gonna sound crazy,
dramatic.
but
Yeah, it was like the world doggone stopped. I'm like, I don't want nothing else except for this right now. So for me, I was sold, and then I kept on telling myself, okay, if I date her, let me date her for a year, and if it goes way I'm hoping it's gonna go, we don't have no mix-ups. This is my wife. No, I'm gonna go ahead and drop to the knee. But I mean, it was that, and then it was the more that I got to know her and got to be around her that I just loved the person she was. I mean, Chris is the only person that ever just had me at peace. Normally, I can be kind of a hot-headed person, But with her, I was always chill. I was always kind of mellow, you know. And she didn't have to do nothing. She didn't have to say nothing. I just being around her was just peace enough. But that was me.
So
That changed my mind.
no, it's the same.
Okay.
So I mean, for me, it still was the same day. But for me, like I'm like, nah, at this point, I'm not jumping out there with nothing. So when we had got to the car, I made him stop the car, and I was like, "Can you kiss me again?" And but we still just took things slow. And I think what really, it was like I know what I felt, but I don't want to move quick. But what really solidified it for me was his interaction with my son. Because after I had Tristan, I hadn't been in another relationship. I was like, I'll stay single the rest of my life. I wasn't gonna bring a bunch of people around him. So, and even after we dated, it was a while. And I know that sounds crazy because I was going to the church, but he still wasn't like around him. So when I finally introduced them two just really hit it off, and I just watched his interaction with him, and then it was just pretty much a wrap after that.
And what's funny was like, if you ask me what I wanted in a potential wife, I actually at first didn't want to date a single mom. I'm like, you know, you never know how those things can be with a baby daddy yet. But with her, seeing her with Tris, that was an attraction. I loved seeing the mother that she was and the type of child she was raising. And then, when I met old boy, he was like, you know, this, like right off the bat, you know. So I think I told him I loved him before I told her. But, you know, so it was a wrap, you know, once I got the chance to really meet him.
Word. So the dynamic duo, y'all would be basically the OGs of this conversation. You've been together since high school, married 23 years?
24.
24
in December.
years?
In December, yes.
Be 24 years. So when did you know? When did you know that it was the one? Because I went to school, we all went to school together. So I know that y'all have been together since we was in school. You know what I mean? That's why I said, you know, as far as everybody on the panel right now, y'all are the OGs. Because you got the, you know, high school all the way up, you know, family, everything. So when did y'all know that each other was the one?
I'll kick it off first. When I first met her, it was like when you're looking for somebody, right? You're usually looking for somebody that's compatible to you. You know what I mean? And when I first met her, I came over her house. We talked, but she smelled, this is crazy. This is real crazy. She smelled like hairspray. And the hairspray got me, right? Because she displayed a hustler. Because everybody all the time was getting their hair done over there. And I was like, okay, she about her bread then. You know what I mean? At the time, I was doing the same thing, but, you know, on the low. I was like, yeah, she about her bread. So I got to learn some more about this chick. You know what I mean? So we started hanging out, talking and stuff like that. And the more that she displayed a mature attitude about her, that's what I needed around me. You know what I mean? Somebody mature, somebody that's outgoing, somebody that was displaying and knew where she wanted to go in life. You know, she already had her head on right. I didn't. She already had goals. I didn't. She was serious about school. I wasn't. And that's what really made me attracted to her, because you say opposites attract. And she was all the right opposites for me. So with that being said, it made me a better person going along, knowing her and conversation wise and just hanging out. So for me, it was kind of love at first sight, but I didn't know at that time, if you feel me. So as time went on, it grew like that. You know, you start acting different. You start doing things real different. You know what I mean? Not acting reckless all the time, not just knowing that something could come through with this, you know, so you straighten up a little bit more. So with me, that's what did it for me.
I'm like Chris, that the story didn't change. Story sounds the same. For me, I really didn't know for a minute, because of course we were young, just like C said. I was 16, he was turning 18 soon, and so it was you know, you in that stage where you still trying life. Like you still trying to figure things out. You still trying to wonder, you know, who you are for real, you know. But I, you know, and I had, you know, you young, you dating people like in middle school or whatever. But so when I moved back to Annapolis and came to, you know, Annapolis High, it wasn't even my thought process to even go here looking for a mate. You know, I went there because I'm really intrigued by school. So I wanted to just go finish up, you know, graduate and so on and so forth. It was never in my interest to go down here and, you know, run into a guy that I'm gonna find that will ultimately be my husband. So I would say that honestly and truthfully, when we got together, I was actually dating someone already. You know how I go. I was actually dating somebody already, and you know, ran into him by the art room, and you know, we exchanged conversation, and I was like, "You need your hair done. You look a mess, or whatever," because I was just straightforward, the same person I am now. And it was like, "You need you look a mess. You need to get your hair done." And he was like, "Well, won't you do it for me?" And that's how it started, and just the conversation that we had. While I was doing his hair, you know, it was a interesting conversation. He had great conversation, and the conversation got me because I'm a big communicator, and that's all I ever wanted, you know, to have. I knew what I wanted, like he said, out of life. I did not necessarily see it in him originally because he was totally opposite from me. I came from fully formed Christian background, different upbringing, you know, stuff like that, and he was ratchet. Like literally, like he was thugged out. And I was like, wait a minute, I might need a thug in my life. Hold on, because the buses ain't loving me right. That type of thing. And that's what attracted me because he was a thug, but he was so gentle with me. He had a great personality, great communication. And so that's what really got me. It was the communication and his personality. And I was like, you know what? I might could clean him up a little bit. You know, literally, that's what I said to myself. I was like, I might could clean him up a little bit. And so that's what did it for me. It was mainly the conversation and the way he handled me, which is still literally, we're at 29 years and he still literally handles me the same way. So that's what did it for me.
Word. Now I will stay. I have to step in for my brother DJ there because I also in high school had wild hair. So you know, you remember in art class you used to do my hair for me in art class. So DJ, I'm with you on that. You know what I mean?
No man.
Yeah. But that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. But all right, we're gonna go to Mikey and Rita. When did y'all know that the other one was the one for you?
Go ahead.
Well, I go first. So I had just started working down in Woodside again. And nobody actually knew that I was there. And I had a conversation with Mikey. He said he would buy the kids pizza and snacks and stuff like that for the group that I was having. And he came and he dropped off the stuff. And I don't know what happened, but in that moment, I felt something. And we didn't know each other since we was 11 years old. So in that moment, I felt something, but didn't know what. And then it was like a period of time where we didn't see each other. And then I went down to, what was the ballpark?
What you mean?
What's the ballpark that the Lynn go to on Sundays?
Oh, yeah, the baseball games, that Druid.
Went down to the Druid, and he was there, and we hadn't seen each other for maybe about a couple weeks or something. And I called my friend, and I was like, I don't know. I think Mikey might be the one. And that's how it happened for me.
Like she said, we've been knowing each other forever. I always had a crush on Rita, but Blue was in love with Rita as ever. Man, I was like, nah, those things you just can't do. You feel me? So the one day when I saw her, I made a joke and she said something about marriage, and I was like, maybe you should marry me. She like, that's a good idea. I was like, hold up. We'll let it in. You feel me? No, but I say for me, mine was because y'all know my story. I was single for so long, and I really wasn't ready to let nobody in my heart. That's what I thought. But like, it was like like I could remember how Rita smelled the first time I seen her. I could when I finally said that and I touched her and everything, it was like, oh no, but this I don't even want. I was kind of nervous because I was like, damn, I ain't feel like that about nobody, and I haven't felt like that about nobody. So I was like, this. I'm gonna have to slow my roll and make this work. My hardest part, I didn't want my single life that I just was right around the corner to keep affecting what I'm trying to do here, and that was hard to break from, and not the desire for things out there, but those things coming back to your relationship. And that was kind of scary for me because I was like, damn, I did so much and she don't deserve that shit to be hurt by that shit. But she stuck it in with me because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not the easiest person to deal with. I don't even know how she do it. But that's why I love her, because she balanced me out. I don't know how she do it, but she balanced me out. I don't even know how she deal with my shit. I mean, I ain't no violent person or nothing, but I was lost in that single life for so long. 12 straight years of being alone. And then you meet somebody who just totally steal your heart. It was kind of scary. But I learned to grow into it as well, because she my everything.
And it was a period of time where we were just seeing each other. We hadn't officially said that we were in a relationship or anything like that. But I just said it in my heart that once he asked me to be his girl, it was like anything that somebody come to me and say is outside of this date right here, I don't care nothing about. You can inbox me, you can do whatever you want. But anything from that date forward, then we got a problem if it's forward.
I know that's right.
I can dig it. So we're gonna go to the McCalls. I'm sorry, McCalls.
All right, can y'all hear us this time?
Yeah. And ain't nobody saying trial. We good, baby. We good.
Okay.
We good to go, baby. We good to go. Hey, so the question is, I'm bringing it around to y'all. When did y'all know that y'all was the one for each other?
All right, so I'm gonna start since I was the one that proposed. So, like, it was kind of crazy because, like, I was going through a whole bunch of different stuff, and one of them was anger at God for, taking my mom when he did. And a lot of people don't know, like, it was like within a year that I had got divorced and my mom passed. So I'm like, Lord, what is going on? So, and after my mom passed, I was angry. I had so many different emotions. It was like, I didn't really know which way to turn. So, I wilded out for a little bit. But then I realized I was lonely. Like, it was literally like me and my son for so long. My sister had moved out. It was me and my son. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just, I realized, like, I would go out and have fun, and then I come home and I'm lonely. So that went on for probably about, I'm going to say about maybe a year or so. And I tell you, I could hear it like yesterday. God said, stop. I didn't know what it meant, but he just said, stop. So I took it as I got to cut everything and everybody off. I stopped dating. I stopped going out. If I wasn't DJing, I wasn't going out. And one night I was out, and it's crazy. I was out with, I think Mikey was there that night. 360 had played down by Geno's at a little joint down there, and we went to Denny's afterwards. And Mike, was you there that night? I think you was there that night.
Yeah, me and T drove down there together.
Yeah, we went to Denny's after that, and somehow we had Denny's, and it was Shanday and Montcreon, and we started talking about church at the table. Like, we just been drinking. We at the table. We talking about church. Like, what's going on? But I had said to Shanday, like, I'm angry, and she was like, bro, come to church tomorrow and I'll meet you there. And I'm like, I'm gonna hold you up to it. And she did. I got up the next morning, I went to church, and I met her there. We didn't even sit together. She waved at me like, I'm here, bro. And I'm here. And I sat in my grandmother's section. Y'all know my grandmother's section at the church. So I tell you, no lie. All of a sudden, somebody had came and got Kiana to come down front to pray for her. And when she was walking by my pew, something just hit me in my heart. And I'm like, ooh, what was that? So I try to ignore it. So then all of a sudden, every day I go on Facebook. I didn't even know me and her was friends on Facebook. Every day from there, I go on Facebook and we commenting on a mutual friend status, back and forth. And I'm like, why is she popping up? So from that day, I started going back to church like every couple weeks because I worked on Sundays. But I started going back to church, but I didn't go back to my home church. I went to First Christian because I was a member of Fresh Start. But I tried to go there and I didn't feel at home anymore. So I went to there, and this was like maybe like August. So here we're gonna fast forward to October, and here come Lisa Ball. And I'm out in the lobby before the ball even started. The first person I see walk through the hallway is Kiana. I'm like, this is my sign. I can't holler at her at church, but I can holler at her tonight. I'm telling you, it was like, hey, it was like came over, was like, if you don't holler tonight, you ain't gonna baby holler.
Right.
I can't holler in church. I'm just not gonna do that. And I did something I've never done. I've been on Facebook for like 13 years. I've never, ever, ever went in nobody's inbox. And I inboxed her. And she responded. When I tell you, it has not been a day since that day that we have not talked. A day. And that even that night, like that was October 5th, 2019. And we talked like for hours after the event. We set up that first date, October 12th, a week later. And I'm just like, something is so different about this girl. Because in my mind, because of the couple of times I went to church, every week I go to church, people grabbing her, can you come pray with me? I'm like, oh, she holier than thou. I can't deal with that. I'm not a holier than thou type person. I'm still in the street.
You're heathen.
Right. But something was saying it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So we went on that first date. And when I tell you, we had the most transparent date I ever had in my life. I mean, the most transparent date I ever had in my life. She gave me a goodnight kiss and my body tingled. And I said, she the one. I knew from there. I said, she the one. She touched my soul with that goodnight kiss. I knew she was the one, and we connected like I have not connected before. It was kind of strange, but it was like, this is what I've been praying for, what I've been waiting for, and I'm not gonna lose this. I'm not gonna lose this. And now we here.
For me, I knew he was the one when, so like on our first date, I was like, listen, we're not having sex. So yeah, you better go ahead, get that about your system. And I was thinking, I'm gonna tell him this and he gonna run. He didn't. And each and every time, like he respected that boundary and that place that I was at in my life, I was like, that right there was everything to me. Out of anything you could have done, you respected that for me. So I was just like, if he ain't the one, then I don't know who is, because that right there, it was the ultimate respect to see me and to see the spirit side of what I was trying to do at that moment and to still continue to go on that journey. And I mean, it's times, you know, we was dating during COVID and being in the house together and still knowing like this ain't gonna happen. He respected that, and that's definitely how I do.
A lot of cold showers.
Go in the kitchen and throw some water on your face. You forgot you got this detergent in it.
No, hey, but to comment on what she said though, what she didn't know at the point when God told me stop, I really did stop. I was on my own little journey. I was like 6 months in on an abstinent journey because I got tired of just laying with chicks here and there and being lonely afterwards. It was just like it got stupid to me. So when she said that, I said yes. I ain't even got like I was happy. She didn't even know I was happy because I'm like, this is not gonna end in some lust type thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about the lust. We really gonna get to know each other, and if it's meant to be, it's gonna be meant to be. Because I mean, sex ain't nothing. Sex is easy. Sex you can get sex like a dime a dozen. You know what I'm saying? So that was nothing. So when she told me that night, she told me on the first night, oh yeah, by the way, and she hit me just like that. Oh, by the way, I ain't having sex till I get married. I'm like, woo.
That's how you look too. Like
I
ooh.
did because I'm sitting there like I haven't had sex in like 6 months, but I wasn't saying till I got married. I said till I found that one. So she threw something else in the game, but I said, you know what? I think this is what I need. And it wasn't about me just trying to get some because I had been divorced, so I'm definitely not just gonna try to give nobody for no sex and marry nobody for no sex. But I was willing to really, really, really deeply get to know her and let her know me. And when I tell you, part of our conversation was we ain't gonna have no secrets. We're gonna put everything on the table, whether it's good or bad, at all times. And even now that we married, we still do that. We like good or bad, we talk about everything. I mean, like we don't argue because we don't let things linger. We don't let things build up. We're not going to be angry. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's some things that might have to wait till the next day, but it's getting addressed real quick because it's not going to linger. And it's been the best thing I ever experienced in life. Like just that open and honesty. The fact that I can put my phone down wide up like that and don't care because ain't nothing coming through that's going to convict me or anything because I have nothing to hide. That I've never had that. I've never had that. I've never had that.
What about you, C? And that
I mean, yo.
Don't do it, Mike.
Hey, yo, we ain't gonna do that, yo. No, we talking about how we met. We not doing that. You ain't going back and forth. Come on, man. Don't be interrupting me, man. You don't need to burn Mike. I would like to talk about us. Damn, Mike. Nobody worry about the damn Mike. I'll take him off the post.
All right,
We
go
good.
ahead, tell your story. This is what happened when you've been knowing each other since y'all was 5. Go tell your story, yo.
Picture it. Bywater Mutual Homes, 1982. Gangly young boy named Little Al was having a 6th birthday party. So, you know, my mother used to make this panda bear cake for me for my birthday every year. And so I'm down there chilling or whatever, everything happened. And this girl walks in with her mother. And this little girl got on like a little yellow outfit. She got little pigtails. And my mother says, Little Al, this is Kamala and Miss Hope. Miss Hope says, hi, you know, this is Little Al. And the first thing Kamala says is, can I blow the candles out on your birthday cake?
Selfish.
The fact that I remember that the first time I met her, yeah, she the one. You know what I mean?
Can I tell my story?
But I like years went by, of course, and decades, and we finally got together. But I knew she was the one when I took a deep breath and I just was like I already should have been in that situation. And kind of like what you said, Rick, like the insurance, like it just, I had some type of assurance from her, like, and it wasn't anything that was said, it wasn't anything that was spoken, but we had been together for a little while, and I was just sitting there and I said, yo, yeah, I should have been did this like years ago. You know what I mean? But yeah, if I had to pick a time where I knew we were 6 years old when she asked to blow the candles out on my birthday cake. The first thing she ever said to me in life, can I blow the candles out on your cake? And like I said, I could tell you a lot about my childhood, but that's one memory that I know anytime I think about it, I get happy like it just happened. You know what I mean? The day before or week before or whatever. And like I said, we friends for years, and she's run my pressure up all the time. But how, one day I felt like, you know what, like I should have did this years ago. You know what I mean? And I mean, even back to prom, 94, you know what I mean? She had her date, I had my date, but still some shenanigans popped off because we danced together. But for the most part, yeah. That's what made her the one for me. When I didn't feel like I had to be, when I felt like I could be comfortable and just be cool and be myself and smile a little bit more. All right, you your turn.
Oh, I'm gonna exit them.
See?
Oh, y'all gonna let me talk?
See?
Like, no. So, I was hoping he was the one a long time.
Hey, Cam.
What?
Scoot to the cat. You got to scoot closer.
Hold on. I can do you one better. That's why I'm stepping on your boy.
Who be stepping on my dog, yo? What's wrong with you?
Scoot your ass over. Come on, boy. I know. I need to tell my story. Excuse me.
I got a story. You're gonna hear it.
Can y'all hear me now? Is this thing on? Make sure my hand in the picture. So, his is a different point of view because his was early in the game. Us as women, we analyze stuff. We don't just jump into stuff. So I had to see how he was going to turn out. I had to figure that part out. But I knew I loved him. But my fear was always he didn't feel the same way about me. It was always, oh my God, I love little Al, but is he going to love me back? Or is this going to mess up our friendship? Because he's been a part of my life for so long. Like, respectfully, all my life. He's the first person I knew from Annapolis. None of my boyfriends ever liked him, and we had never been intimate. Except for one time, we was like 10. We was playing hide and go get it, and I think I let him grind on me. But that was cool. I mean, but, I helped this grind game. Get away. But I'm getting ready to tell y'all something, and y'all gonna laugh y'all ass off, but it's the honest goodness truth. I knew I loved Al when I beat Ollie up. And when I say that is because him and Ollie had a little conflict. And me and my brother was sitting in back of his house talking. And then he came towards the house holding his face. And my first instinct, yes, I still cussed as a little girl. I was like, what the fuck happened? Ollie snuck me. I didn't even think of what to do. Him and my brother couldn't catch me. 10-speed bike on my feet, like gone. You ain't never seen a fat girl move so fast. Caught up to him in second court down by Waters, picked him up and slammed him in between two cars and wore his ass out. All because he hit my baby.
That's a
Now, I
lot
ain't
of
saying
slamming.
Hey, he was. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a
That's,
strong
that's
motherfucker.
exactly
He
what I
wasn't
just
as
said.
big back then. Yo, I suplexed this ass. Do you hear me? I
You like
suplexed.
the mother on I'm gonna get you sucker.
Yeah, listen. But listen, it wasn't a thing of he couldn't defend himself. It was like we was kids. Like, what you gonna
Yep.
do if you can't see? If a nigga sneak you, what you gonna do? Man, look, I'm from Southeast. At this time, I'm straight up out the district. Let's go. I don't care. I fight dudes. I fight girls. I fight mothers. Yeah, I'm like 8 years old. My mouth off the Yowza bar. Mouth been grown. But yeah,
You
that was it.
47 and ain't nothing changed.
Absolutely. And that's the sad part.
Except she can't fight.
Mikey, you already know what my
We're
family
not gonna do that tonight.
No.
We're not gonna do that. We're not doing that. Sir.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not gonna make my wife out to be violent, even though she's violent. We're not gonna do that.
But no, actually, I was the one at the end that reached out to him because I had went through something life-changing. I was sexually assaulted, and I had to reevaluate my life. And I thought about it. I said, you know, I didn't want to start fresh with anybody because it was like either I figure this out or I'm celibate. And it was like, okay, who has been the most consistent? Like, even during the time that I was dating the guy that assaulted me, Al was always on my mind. Excuse me. I actually made a list of pros and cons. Like, it was no reason for me to stay with that dude. And I just kept, you know, reiterating, like, to where as though I was calling C. Allen from the dude phone. And it wasn't even on no, I'm trying to get with you. It was the music. He made beats and I rapped. So, and by us being childhood friends, we always stayed in connection. Like, I did fashion shows for his mother. Like, we always was interacting in some form of fashion. Even as far as my daughter, my oldest daughter, you know, a lot of people know or don't know that it's not C. Allen's biological daughter, but he has been in her life all of her life. When I had her, him and his mother came to my house to see her. So it wasn't never, his mother made my prom dress. Like, so it was never a time where we weren't a part of each other's life. But it's just after that, I just was like, either I tell this man how I feel or the next dude is going to kill me. And that was my exact, I told my mother that because I was at her house in Florida at the time. And I was like, I got to tell him how I feel because I didn't know if he was in a relationship. I didn't know if he had a baby on the way. I didn't know none of that because that part of his life I didn't delve into. I just kept it mutual. Hey, when I see you, what's up? It's all love. Let's have a drink. Let's smoke or whatever. But never picked up on it that maybe he felt the same. Any dude I ever dated, like one dude, I swear to God. Okay. C. Allen probably was about 60 pounds heavier at the time. And he literally could take up a whole door. Like height, like he was a big guy. So he came to my house to smoke with me one night. And the dude that I was dating was like, hey, yo, it's some big nigga at the door, yo. I go and I see who it is. I'm thinking it's my brother Russell. It's him. I said, oh, man, that's Lil Al. That's my nigga. That's the big homie, you know. And he like, yeah, all right. But never been intimate. Never anything. Nothing. Until probably about 2 or 3 years later. And when that incident happened, I called him. And I just told him how I felt. And he was like, I've been feeling like that forever. And I was like, well, what we gonna do? Well, when you come back to Maryland, we gonna see what happened. Because at the time I was in Florida, I'd been gone for like 3 weeks. But he was like, when you come back, we gonna see what's up. Oh, okay. So once I got back to Maryland, nothing changed. He came to my house. He had a recording studio session he had to do in Virginia with his cousins. Shout out Boot Mob, gang gang. And it was his birthday weekend. So me being the baller bitch that I was at the time, when he came back, he had a fresh pair of white Air Forces. He had birthday dinner and dessert. And he came to visit, and the nigga never left. The end. Oh, no, Mikey, thank you.
That's some chocolate.
Thank you. That's my story. But nah, we done been through it all, though. We done been through it all. And shout out to, listen, DJ and Ladybug. Y'all not doctor nobody. Y'all Bug and DJ right now. Shout out to y'all. Because y'all make it possible for Black couples to invest in each other and make it work.
Big facts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Even though Bug threw me out y'all wedding, I still love y'all.
Big facts.
It wasn't you. It was the people that you was
wasn't you.
congregating
It
with.
wasn't
I
you.
know, and that's why I'm not mad. Look,
And now we're all.
I was happy I made it in. I was happy I made it. Look, I was dressed properly. The person I was with had a fucking jean sweat, jean gip on. I was dressed, honey. I had my hands on and shit.
Oh man.
It's
I
all
just want to see my
good.
boy DJ with his tux on. I ain't never seen that nigga in a tux like that before.
That's
I just was
it.
trying to
That's
be a
it.
bit more with the fucking tuxedos on and big Jimmy in there.
That's it.
That just shows you how life evolves.
Yeah,
Comes full circle.
it's growth. It's growth. We all had to
Because I
we all
forgot
had
to
to
tell
go through
y'all,
our trials
Buzz
and
did my
tribulations.
nails for prom. Boom.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always love.
What were you saying, PJ?
I said we all went through our trials and tribulations, but we still here and sitting here talking about it. You know what I mean? So everything comes with growth. Everything comes with growth. And me and my wife, I mean, just like I said, our number one rule is do not lay down without discussing whatever we need to get out the way. You know what I mean? You're not going to wake up with that tomorrow and go through the same thing. That's how things snowball into effect. If you got something that you need to get off your chest, go ahead and get it off your chest before we lay it down. You know, because time's so short, man. You don't know who's waking up in the morning time. That part, you know what I'm saying? So me and Lady, we have just learned, you know. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story how much that we've been together, how long we've been together, that she and I just pick up on stuff. My son was young and he had a football game. My grandmother was sick. And while I was out there, my mother called my phone, hysterical. My grandma was in hospice at the time. And she just called my phone hysterical. I had to calm her down and talk her through it for like a half an hour so she could get to the hospice center. And I told her I would meet her there. I lied to y'all not, yo. I hung that phone up and thought, what can I do? Because my son is down South River playing his football game. And I do not have no way of pulling him off this field right now and taking this man up to hospice with me to go see my grandmother. I lied to y'all not, with when in that 1 minute, Lady had called me and said, what's the matter? While I'm sitting on the football field and didn't even have a chance to call her, she called me. So in the atmosphere, she already knew something was wrong. You feel me? And came up with a plan, and that brief 2 minutes of conversation, and I was on my way up to the hospice center with my mother. You know what I'm saying? So it's things that you build trust in a relationship. Like I said, you put your phone down, you ain't got nothing to worry about. If you do right, you ain't got to worry about covering up the wrong. So it's just more easier to do right. And that's what we practice all these years, and that's what we've been doing.
Hey DJ, even if I put my phone down, she got the password.
Yeah, that
And-
part too.
She the
That
only
part.
one ever had the password.
That part. Because I mean, if you're doing right I mean, what's the problem?
Right.
You feel me?
She said, look, she just said, I forget it half the time, but if you ask, here you go. You can have it again. There's nothing in there that you
Yeah.
can't see.
The only thing I worry about is her burning up my battery. That's about it.
Look, hey, look,
That
when
was-
we decided to buy a house before we even got engaged. And that's another reason why I knew she was the one, because I'm like, I am committing to a 30-year mortgage with this woman before I even proposed. It was not even a question. We were sitting up Rito and Jazz house on 4th of July. She was already in the process of buying a house, and it was stressing her out because every time she went seeing the house, she was like, babe, can you go with me to see this house? So I'm going to see this house, and every house that I'm seeing, I'm picturing like, all right, where me and my son gonna be at in this house. So I'm making plans, not even realize I'm making plans, but she shocked me because the last house that we saw, she was like, babe, this area could be for sale. And I'm like, oh, she making plans too.
That's it.
So like a week later, we sitting on 4th of July at Rito and Jazz house. And I just said to her, I said, babe, instead of you buying a house by yourself, let's just buy it together. And I don't know where that came from, but it just came out. And like June 5th, I sat there and I woke up and I said, did I just do that? I did do that.
That's it.
But the process started and it was hard. Like when I tell you, I've never, ever, ever allowed anybody in my personal business. It was hard. Like, it was hard to turn over my bank statements, my pay stubs. I'm like, they all in my business. Why they need to know this? Every time they ask for something, I'm like, why y'all need to know this?
He gave them people.
I gave them hell. Yes,
blues.
I gave them hell because I'm like, why y'all need to know this? Like, I'm a private person. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to my finances, don't nobody know what I got because I'm like this. If you don't know what I got, you ain't got nothing on me. So it's like, I opened that door and I opened it up and I said, you know what? If I'm doing this, it was within a month when we seen this house where we at right now. We saw like about 6, maybe 7 houses, but this particular house right here, when we came seeing it, and this was the last house that we came to see on the day that we went to see 4 houses, and this house I didn't even want to see. I did not want to see this house for some reason. And this was the last house that realtor brought us to. And I said, babe, this is it. So while she was out front talking to the realtor, I walked the house in prayer, the whole outside perimeter of the house. I walked it in prayer. I said, God, this is it. I need you work. This is it. And when it came down to it, we was the first to put a bid on it and the only to put a bid on it because we got it. And when I proposed, it was here before we even closed on it in the backyard of this house. Before we even owned this joint, I just knew this was our beginning right here. And I'm thankful because you know what I'm saying. The realtor was like, I've never done nothing like this, but let's make it happen. And she was like, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
That's what's up.
It worked out. It worked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy because literally it was probably like 3 or 4 days before closing, and the lender called me and said that I had paid like $4,000 to the state of Maryland for some income tax stuff that I owed. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, this was holding us up. So I called him, I made a deal, I made the payment, and we moved on with it. But it was like, I just knew. So after we found this, I called her friends and was like, it's time to go ring shopping. It's time to go ring shopping. And, we did it together. I'm old school, so I wasn't even going to do the whole, I was going to do the whole me and her dinner, get on my knees, will you marry me, corny ass shit. But I felt like we 13 years apart. She looking for that new. She looking for that new. So I had to dig down deep. And I said, you know what? I gotta give her what she been waiting for for all these years that she been waiting. So, I did what I did, and like it's crazy. And a DJ, we go way back, bro.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
go
sir.
way back. And it's crazy because I always saw you and Bug, and I'll be like, man, they got something special. How the hell they stay together that long?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Hey, cuz seriously, I used to always say how they stay together that long, because the whole time y'all been together, I've been in like 5 failed relationships. What the hell?
Oh my God.
But for real, I realized that, at the end of the day, when the same thing keep happening, and I'm dead ass, when the same thing keep happening, you gotta look in the mirror.
Yeah,
a lot of that shit
Yep.
was me. A lot of that shit was me. It was me.
Yeah, I mean, I had real growth, period. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that I was blessed with in her is her patience. You feel me? Her patience was real big with me. When she decided to not participate in my shenanigans anymore as far as on the streets, she was like, you got to make a decision right here and right now. Your family will continue doing what you're doing, and at the time, God works in mysterious ways, because at the time before she made that statement, everything started shutting down for me. You know what I mean? Everything was slowing up, everything was drying up, and I was even questioning myself about what I'm still doing out here, because we was about 2 kids already in on the 3rd one.
No, we with mama, so ready to be the 4th one.
Ready to be on the 4th child. You know what I mean? And another person that helped me out, even with that whole conversation, was Stink, Goob that was in town. He was like, look, bro, you getting older, you got a family. These cats out here ain't got no heart. They ain't got nothing to go home to. You got something to go home to. You don't have to make a decision. And she said that same thing to me that same night. So that was it for me. You know what I mean? But all that time, she had salvation, and she had patience enough to not keep hitting me in my head with it, but was showing me that if you live your life right, we gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. You don't need to do all that. It's gonna be all right. Just live your life right, and we gonna be all right. So what got me is her patience. You know what I mean? She had enough patience with me until I figured myself out and who I really was. I mean, it ain't no choice, but I mean, why go anywhere else? You know what I mean? Why do anything else? Why not just grow together and see how powerful we could really become as 2 people, instead of just struggling as one. So that's my side of it.
I can say one thing. I'm not sure where anybody is spiritually on this group, and this is not to make this spiritual, but because DJ brought it up, I wasn't perfect, y'all. Just put that disclaimer out there. I was doing the exact same things that he was doing with him and without him. I was ripping and running and doing everything that I thought that I, was grown enough to do. But then there was a point, and there comes a point in your life where you realize that this is it. Just like Ice was saying that, he heard God when he was like, stop. And I felt that. I've been in that position before. It was like, this is not it. But one thing that I did learn, and for anybody that's watching this, if you have salvation and your spouse don't, because at one point in my life I was like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. God is calling me to another level. He's calling me to a different dimension. Like, I can't stay in these streets because I'm gonna die, period. I was an alcoholic at a very young age. Like, I'm gonna die out here in these streets. I'm out here, I'm hustling, I'm doing all of this stuff. And I was like, this not even what I was brought up in. So I don't even know why I'm out here, but I'm out here. So then I got to this point where I was like, okay, so I want to receive salvation. But what I want to encourage those spouses that are out here and you're looking to change your life, your spouse only know you from the aspect of who they met. You cannot change these people overnight. So the patience that he's talking about, I didn't have an option. I felt like the woman with the issue of blood. It was 12 years that I was full-fledged saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm in church, you know, like full-fledged, and he was still out here and we were still paying our bills with drug money. So I want to be transparent, and I want to make it crystal clear that when you decide to transform your life, or when you hear that call from God, don't think that your spouse is just going to convert over that quickly like that. That doesn't work like that. You got to have patience. You got to give them time, because at the end of the day, you was the same thing they was just yesterday. And literally, that's how it happened for me. Like, I literally received salvation literally overnight. It was like, I'm done with everything. I went cold turkey. Like, I ain't drinking. I ain't getting high. I ain't doing none of this stuff. I ain't running no men. I'm not doing none of it. You know, or whatever. Gambling, that was a big thing for me. I was a big gambler. I was like, I ain't gambling. I ain't shooting no dice. I ain't going to no car. I ain't doing none of that. And then to expect that from him is very, very, you know, that's challenging. You don't do that to a person. You allow God to do that. And so I think that's one of the greater aspects of this thing called marriage, because it requires patience. It requires the ability to allow somebody else to grow. It requires you not judging them. And so because I never judged him, and because even though I had salvation and he was doing something, we were totally opposites. You know, we were doing two totally different things. My kids listen to gospel music when they call in the car with me, and they listen to some rap when they're in a truck with him, you know. So it would start to confuse them. You know, it's true. Yeah. And so I think the patience with anything, that's one of the biggest things that helped our marriage grow, helped us, because we got married very young. We didn't know anything about marriage. We didn't even know why we was getting married. I married him because his mother told me that he would never marry me. Literally, that's why I married him. Did I love him? Yes. But I wasn't in love with him to the fact where I'm thinking that I knew that I was supposed to be with him the rest of my life, but I didn't think it was going to happen that early. At 22 years old, you're still trying to find yourself. You know, and so, but I think the patience and the communication is the thing that keeps the relationship bonded, because we've been through stuff even since marriage. We were 22 and 24. Clearly, we've been through stuff. Clearly, we've had disagreements. Clearly, there was, you know, different infidelities and stuff like that on my behalf, because I would never blame that on my husband. Like, things happen early in our marriage, you know, and I'm transparent with it. We both are. You know, and so because we were still trying to find who we were. But when you have patience with somebody and you know that this is your soulmate, this is the person that God brought into your life, don't mess that up. And don't let them go. Don't let them slip out of your hands just because you want to be thick-headed, or just because you want to feel like that you got the upper hand or whatever. If it ain't my way, it's the highway. No, you got to be in a place where there's communication. You got to be in a place, and just like Ice, I heard you saying that you didn't want to communicate certain things in regards to your finances. Like, you got to be an open book when it comes to this thing called relationship. And even as you're growing in your relationship, the grooming of your relationship, you got to have that open line of communication, because if not, it's not going to work. And so to just sum it up, that's why we're still together 29 years later, and we started out very young. Like, that's why we still have a strong marriage. Have we been through stuff? We've been through everything except divorce. Yep. And guess what? Divorce is not on the table, and it's never an option. We've been through everything that somebody can go through. It is not an option for us. And so that's why we started Healthy Marriage 101, because we've been through everything except divorce. Like, we could talk to anybody about anything, and just being transparent with each other. No, you're not going out here and telling everybody your business. People will never know what goes on in my household. If it ain't happy, like, just like Coach was saying, Mikey, y'all coach, just like Coach was saying, like, everybody don't need to know what's going on in your household. Like, that's not for everybody to know. Just because you're not displaying it, don't mean it's not going on. But when I come out in front of people, we coming out together. We're going to have smiles on our face, and we got the best marriage in the world. Let's go. Like, that's just what it is. And so, but when we in those intimate conversations and places like this, you want to be in a vulnerable place. You want to be in a place where you're transparent, to let people know things are going to happen, but you can get through it. You know, there's a variety of marriages and beginning of what I'm claiming as a marriage on this Zoom, right, or this live, or whatever this thing is right now. And so you can see the trajectory of where Black people are going. Like, it was unheard of for marriages to last from teenagers up until now for a period of time. You know, it's unheard of. But now we looking at each other and we like, you know, we got this thing. We're gonna make this thing happen. So I just wanted to encourage those of you out there that's in a different space with your life spiritually, and your spouse might not necessarily be there. Grant them some grace. Grant them some grace, because one thing I know that my husband said before my father died, he told my father that the reason why he has salvation now is because I never wavered. So keep doing what you're doing. They're watching. Continue to operate in your gift. They're watching. Continue to do whatever you're doing in your spiritual life because your spouse is watching. And that's about it. I just wanted to throw that out there. It just came to my spirit really quickly that somebody needs to know and needs to understand. Like, I never pushed him to come to church. I will ask him, offer him. If he said no, see you when I get back. That's it. And then I just kept doing it. It was repetition. And then all of a sudden he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. And I was like, what? So he ended up coming, and then he came again, and it was a break for like a couple months, and then he showed up again. You know, the kids had a little recital, so he showed up again, and then that's just how it happens. But allow God to work on your spouse. Don't try to work on your spouse, because that's not your job.
Yes.
Word. Man,
That's so true. That's why I don't think nobody that I was messing with was working with me. Everybody wanted me to be something I wasn't, and I realized that I couldn't be it either, because I was financially, I was broke. My heart was broke, my spirit was broke. So I was like, why would I try to be somebody man when I don't have nothing to bring to the table? My mom didn't raise us like that, and you know, I had met some good people that I really was only like two, and it was because everybody else was just trying to make me, oh, real men this, real men now. I'm a real man when I was broke. And I told everybody, I'm not going to be broke long. I wasn't even as broke as they thought I was. I just stopped spending, and I had to get myself back together, because there's no only way you're going to have to take care of me is if I have an injury. I'm not the dude to let you keep on paying for everything for me. I like providing for myself. The only thing happened to me was I got kind of selfish with life. To open my door after having so many doors shut in my face when I was single, because I was just like a sex toy to people. And that was all. It was like I said, that's all it seemed like I was worth. When I had sex with you, and then I got to get out your house before your kids get up, and I ain't even got no damn car. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
You take free cops to the house with you, yo.
It just slowly started becoming stupid. And I was like, okay, I'm doing all this. And like you said, when I get home, I'm lonely. You know what I mean? So the craziest song, what's the song? The Seconds of Pleasure. I swear I used to hear that song so damn much. And I never really thought how that song was affecting me. That man was explaining all the shit you do for a second of pleasure. And that's an orgasm. And we do anything for. Once I got past that shit, I was like, I'm cool. I'm tired of that's Paula crazy ass.
Paula, wow, yeah.
I'm tired of I got tired of being in so many different arms that it was like, damn, if I do get somebody that love me, who the fuck how they gonna trust me? You know what I'm saying? If they know all this shit I did, how they gonna trust me? And that's what made things cool with her, because I know she didn't trust me, and I didn't blame her, but she didn't keep slamming that shit down my throat or keep accusing me of every little teeny thing. And I believe, you know, if you don't die, everything grows, but everybody don't evolve. And no matter what you say, I evolved. I grew, but I evolved. I grew into. I'm a man. I know my fault. That's why you sit here and say it's hard. I don't know how she put up with me sometimes, because I'm not just mean at times. I just being alone so much made me just put me in a space so I can survive, because I couldn't survive. I'm a social person. I couldn't survive by myself. I thought I couldn't, but I did. And after I did, I kept saying I don't need nobody. And I said that shit to her a couple of times. And She don't like that shit at all. So you know what I'm saying? So I had to learn how to stop saying shit out my mouth because I was just so alone. So I wasn't trying to be like that. It was just stuff just was, you know, you thinking if this person be treating me like that, why isn't she? And the reason why is because she a beautiful soul. And that's why everybody wasn't for me. It took me a minute to just you know, let my guard down because I ain't feel like it no more. I said I wanted to be single for the rest of my life. Then when I woke up and seen her ass next to me, and she ain't in the bed now, I pat that motherfucking bed or kick my leg over that joint. I'm like, where the fuck she at? She wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. Like somebody's great grandmother. But it's just special to be, you know, to be in a relationship after not being in one for so long and being in one for 16 years and then getting out. It was crazy because we never broke up until the end. When we broke up, that was our first time ever breaking up, and we never got back together. That's unusual. And I don't have a lot of relationship stories because all my relationships was with 2 people, basically. You know what I mean? So, and then to see y'all, and then to hear a lot of people talk to me. A lot of people relationships are failing. They failing each other. They're not doing whatever's going on in their household. They're not changing anything about it to be together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All they're doing is fussing about what's wrong with each other. No one's being responsible. I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe how many calls I get or inboxes talking about relationships, and I'm like, shit. Try something different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can tell you. Whatever you're doing right now is not working.
Not working.
Try something different. And I was explaining to her that I hear this all the time. It's sad that so many people failing each other that been in love for so long, and they just won't try nothing different. I don't know what it is. To see y'all on here and hear these conversations, let people like us know that, like, I don't know about her, but me, I'm not married. I've never been married. It's good to see that this shit works. You know what I'm saying? It's good to hear that every time I see Malona and DJ, they always so happy. Every time I see Rick and Chris and Ice them, they always so happy, but they got issues going on in their house too. And they work through them. Seattle, the same thing. They work through them and keep it going. And that's what builds confidence for people like us who haven't been in relationships. So I applaud y'all and I respect y'all. And I ain't even know Malona ass gamble or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So right.
That's right, cuz.
I forgot that was your name. I'm sitting there like Malona.
Oh yeah. You know when you old school, you call everybody that real joint. Because when
the government,
I never called that ladybug much. When we were little,
you didn't.
Malona.
You're the only one out of all of the guys out front of you. The only one. Yeah. But Mikey, you said something, and I don't know, maybe the other guys can comment on this, but you said something that was very profound in regards to how men feel with the one night stand type of thing, because I think oftentimes it's projected on the woman, like oh yeah, like you hear in the background, oh yeah, the guys, they talking about you, you lay down with him or whatever, and now he gone to the next chick. But it sounds like to me that at some point male figures also feel the same thing, like, because you was just saying that you started to feel like, oh, man, I lay down with her and now I gotta get up for the kids get up, or and stuff like that. So can we talk about that? See, I don't know where the program is going, but even if not now, like, just to hear from the male aspect of, you know, what that feels like, because all the time we always concerned about the female. But it sounds like to me that y'all going through the same issues with these quote unquote one night stands or these mediocre relationships and things of that nature. And I think that more men probably need to get that off their chest. Like, you know, we're not cool with really no one night stand either, you know. And so just if we could elaborate a little bit, or if the guys want to elaborate, because that was really profound, and I never even looked at it like that. I didn't even know men thought like that, you know, like, you know, I ain't trying to get up right now, you know, I'm, you know, can we chill a little bit, or can I come back, you know, whatever the case may be.
Now, Malone, the real talk, I don't know why people think this, but God created us with the same exact emotions. I don't care. We go through the same thing y'all go through. We just don't express them the same way. When we get rejected, we act the same way you do. When we lose our mate, we act the same exact way y'all do. We hurt, we suffer. We might put that in a different, but we all act the same way. So when I'm like, for me, it was like, all right, I've been around, but like I had, you know, let me put it to you like this. A one night stand pleases the moment. But then when you in that mood and you just say, well, tonight I need somebody to hold me, but you just don't tell nobody. In your spirit, you wanting to be held, you wanting to be, so you find that moment, and then next thing you know, you done been her one night stand for so many times. That's all she waiting for. So now it ain't time to hold you. Nah, she's settled now. She's satisfied. You did your thing, and you got respect the fact that she don't want you keep seeing people in and out of the house, you know, different men. And imagine this: the person that you want having a one night stand saying to you, I don't like my kids seeing no whole bunch of men coming in and out my house. That's telling you somebody else there too. You know what I'm saying? So you got to walk with that. And you got to be like, damn, no, I was trying to chill tonight. Nah, you got to man up, suck it up, and go home and lay down and look at yourself like, ass. You know, ain't no words for this. Like, why do you keep putting yourself into this? It's like, it was like, why do I keep putting myself into it? The person that I wanted to be with, she moved to Virginia. I'm not one for a long distance relationship. I still was in the process of not having nothing, and my manhood would not let me cut loose to this chick. I didn't have anything to offer her. She didn't even care. That's like right here. She didn't care that I didn't have anything. Well, I was building myself back up. With Rita, it was easier for me to open up with Rita because I had nothing. And I'm not going to sit at the table with you with nothing. I bring the plates. At least let me bring the plates or something. If I can't bring food, I got some paper plates or something, but I can't just sit at the table. So that we have the same effects of all of that stuff that y'all do. Sometimes you sit there and you think to yourself like, damn, I gave myself to this chick. That's how I think. One of the things that happened to me was the spiritual part of it all kept haunting me because I was so used to being in so many different women's arms. That's what I expected all the time. When I was sad and Rita, when I met Rita, I never heard a person ask you every fucking 5 seconds, are you okay? You okay? I could jump in my sleep or something. She gonna jump up, see if you okay. That's all she kept asking me, was I okay? Always want to know if I ate yet. I'm like, she trying to get me fat or something. Now you trying to look out for you because that's what people do. You know what I mean? When they care about you. And she know, like Rita know I got a lot of stuff, mental stuff going on like that I had to deal with. And by me being an open book, sometimes I tell too much. And I'm trying to learn how to stop doing that, but I don't know how to.
Ain't nothing wrong with that though, Mike. Ain't
if I hold shit in, it make me it's shit that go on in my head. I'm like, I gotta get this out my system. That way I can work through this shit. By walking around holding it in, I don't do that. But she know she'll pain her ass though. Yeah, she trying to be quiet like she shy.
And I can only speak on my joint. Like at a young age, like you know what I'm saying, from the age of 16, probably like up to the age about 28, 29, I was in 2 relationships that whole time. So I knew I was a relationship person, but all of a sudden I wasn't in a relationship, and I felt like life had passed me by. So, you know, like things started happening in my life that I wasn't used to. Like, you know what I mean? I became a little local celebrity, women throwing themselves at me that I wasn't ever used to before. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was living a life, but deep down inside, I still felt like I'm a relationship type of person. And so it's like, even though, you know, I was with my first daughter mother for 5 years, and then I was with my son mother for 11 years after that. No break in between. And I'm being transparent right now. So it's like I had gastric bypass, I lost 285 pounds, and I had a whole new life of clicks coming at me that would never look my way before. And something snapped at me, was like, live your life. So
cut me loose.
So like you know what I mean? Like they was out here calling me Buddy Love in the streets.
Buddy Love.
Niggas call me Buddy Love in these streets. No, for real. Niggas call me Buddy Love.
You had that potion.
I ain't had the potion though, but it was already done. But and I ain't gonna lie. I was wilding out for like 3 years straight. But something during those times, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care about nobody's feelings. I was doing me. I mean, like, and y'all been to the party. I was doing parties 4 or 5 nights. I was doing weekday parties in Annapolis. We was partying at that point back in the early 2005s and 6. We was doing parties from Wednesday to Sunday nights in Annapolis, and everybody was out. It was packed. And every night somebody was waiting by my car. Ice Love.
Trick Daddy.
And it was easy. It was easy. But when I tell you, in my heart, I'm like, I'm a relationship person. I'm used to being with the same person every day. I'm used to being with the same person. So I went through the stages where I tried to get in relationships, and it was like a fight. It was back and forth. It was a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So finally I got to the point where, like, you know, somebody caught me and I got married. But I still wasn't 100% ready. And I got married, and I tried it. I gave my all. I tried it and all of that, but it didn't work. But I'm so glad that I didn't have that spirit in me to realize that, you know, I talk to people who get married, like, I ain't never getting married again. Fuck love and all that. I ain't never getting married again. I didn't have that because I knew I gave my all. So it wasn't, I'm not gonna sit and say it was not her fault. It wasn't my fault. It was our fault. And we got past that. So I was like, I wasn't that. So after that marriage, I'm the only one on this whole thing that been divorced.
Now Rita had.
Oh, Rita. Okay, Rita. Okay. So Rita, you can speak on this.
Right.
A divorce is like a death.
Mm-hmm.
A divorce is like a death. You actually mourn. You mourn, and people don't realize. Like, before I got divorced, we wasn't together. But the fact of the matter, when you go through that whole divorce thing and it's finalized, you have to mourn. And then my mother died. Like, how can I mourn this? And now I got to mourn that. So now I'm back on that tip when I'm like, oh, I'm back in the 06, 07. Ice Love Ready Live again. But it was different this time. Because now it's like those one night stands, they was hitting different because I had got back into the 15, 16 year teenage, early 20s me where I knew I was a relationship person. So that relationship person was looking for that, but all of a sudden I'm back here and I'm being forced into these one night stands, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I'm literally questioning myself some nights, looking at people like, why is you here?
How did I get here?
Why is you here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
real.
Like, wow. And that's where that lonely feeling came from, because I don't love you. And I'm used to being with somebody that I love because I'm a relationship person. So that's why when I heard God say stop, it was for a reason, because I was not getting fulfilled. Yes, I was getting pleasure for that moment, but I was not getting fulfilled. And I started to feel like, you know, I had chicks calling me up the same way that I would call a chick up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had chicks hitting my phone the same way. Like, where you at, Ice? What you doing? You know what I mean? At the moment, you don't think about that because you the dude. So you like, yeah, come on over, I can hit it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, you getting just as much out of this as I am. So why should I sit here and feel like I'm the dog? You just as much dog as me. You just as much dog as me. And guess what? I wasn't raised like this. I wasn't raised like this. And I'm a relationship person. So guess what? When I didn't even question it. I'm telling you, I didn't even question it. I've never heard God's voice in my life until he says stop.
Wow.
I've never ever, because I wasn't a spiritual person. I used to go to church. I used to run 2 ministries in church, the catering ministry and the sound ministry. I used to run 2 ministries in church, and I never heard God's voice.
Wow.
But when he said stop, I'm telling you, it was loud and clear. And I know
something's already happened bad to you, yo.
No, my mother had something to do with that, bro. I know she did.
No, that's what I'm saying. You stopped. You
And
listened. If you hadn't
I
listened, something bad would have happened.
And I had to have conversations because, like, you know, I called it my second coming after my mom passed, because the thing about the difference was I wasn't just like hanging with any and every chick. I had like maybe like select 2 or 3, and I just kept them on standby.
Not to select 2.
No, I'm just saying it was, you know what I mean? So it was like little small relationships, but wasn't real relationships, because I keep it a band, I keep it 100. You ain't gonna never feel like we together because I keep it a band. None of them ever felt like we was together. No, they knew what it was, and I knew what it was, but I felt like it's not fair to them because I know in my head I'm never gonna be with y'all like that. So when God said stop, I cut everybody off cold turkey. Look, I can't talk to you no more. I can't, because I am sick and tired, like Mikey said, laying here, and I got to get up at 5 because your kid ready to get up at 6. I got to go home, and I'm comfortable and I'm tired. I just came here at 1.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And same thing at my own house. You just came here, but guess what? You got to go because my son in the other room. I feel the same way. My son ain't gonna see you coming out. My son ain't. I treat my son just like females treat their kids. My son not gonna see a whole bunch of chicks leaving up out my house. So that's what I'm saying. Like us, just like Mikey said, we have the same feelings that a lot of females do, but sometimes we just don't know how to express them. We just don't know how to express them. So when it came down to that point where it's like I could not be with nobody until I could get to the point where I knew where I needed to be, where my head was clear, where it was nothing. Sex is a distraction. Sex is a distraction. It's like I did not want to be with nobody because we had good sex, because I didn't want to have that confusion. It's like, oh my God, that Joe was bomb. I love her. No, for that moment, I love you for that moment because that shit was just bomb. But I need to really be in that position where it's like, when we do that, I'm already gonna love you before we lay down. And I probably was 16 and a virgin before the last time that I laid down with somebody that I loved before I had sex with them. And now I'm in my 40s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that whole one night stand thing. It wasn't a one night stand with me. It was probably a few months night stands because it was some of the same people over and over. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm not dealing with a whole bunch of different people, but they still in that same predicament where it's the same rotation. There's a rotation. You know? So I had to get into the space where I'm not doing nothing with nobody in order to clear my own head. And that was the only way that I could be good for her, because I dated somebody 8 months before her. I dated somebody for 8 months and I liked her. But I swear to God, it got to a point where something just made me irritated with everything she did. And that was my way of feeling like she ain't the one. And a good person, but she wasn't the one. So that's why I'm sitting there like that was the last person I dated before her. And when God said stop, he was pretty much telling me, break it off with her. Break it off with her, because it ain't fair to that good person that you ain't gonna be there for her because she wants you to be there for her. But I got bigger things for you. But you got to listen to me. And first of all, you got to stop being angry. I was angry for almost 2 years, and I never questioned them per se, but I was like, how did you take the most God-fearing person that I know in my life, the person that prayed for me when I ain't prayed for myself, away from me? It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, but I didn't question it, but I became angry. So you don't care about me, you taking that person from me, I don't care about you. And I'm no lie, I walked around like that for 2 years with a chip on my shoulder. For the church, I didn't pray. I didn't pray. I'm telling you, it was hard for me. I did not pray for not one thing for 2 years because I felt like I was deceived. But I never questioned, because my mother was the type person who said it all the time. When it's my time, I'm good. I'm ready. When it's my time, I'm ready. And I knew that. So I didn't question it. But it ain't stopped me from being angry. It ain't stopped me from being angry. It ain't stopped me from acting out. I acted out like a badass kid when they parents get divorced. I acted out. And that's all I could, that's all I could look at that. I acted out. But it put me where I needed to be, because when I got that call for her, I was ready. I mean, 1,000% ready. She got no backlash from none of my failed relationships. She got no dragging on. Like, we got together, she ain't had to deal with no women that was still hanging on. Oh, I love you, Ice. None of that.
Ooh, we love you, Ice.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like how Mikey said he didn't want the deal, I can't bring nothing to the table. All I kept saying was I did not want to bring no baggage to nobody else, because I brought baggage to other women. I brought baggage to people because I didn't know how to deal with it before I got with them. I brought baggage. And that's why I was sitting there like, when Mikey said that, I was like, damn, that's some real shit, bro. That's some real shit. You was dealing with not having the finances and all that. I was financially stable. I was good with that. My hardest thing was going from when my mother died, I lived with my mother. We paid half the bills. I went from having to pay half the bills to all the bills. And that was my biggest struggle. Like, how do I pay all these bills when I'm only used to paying half the bills? So the financial part wasn't a problem because I could pay the whole bills. I just didn't have to, but I could. My biggest problem was not being able to give somebody my 100 of me. And she deserved more than 100 of me. That's it.
That's what it is.
Black Hammer.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, yo. And we shit, we ready to hit the 2 hour mark. But
Oh, we did hit it.
this conversation was very much needed. Because as you can see, we didn't drop below 25 viewers the whole time. So I feel like this conversation hit the mark that it was supposed to hit. I want to do this again. A follow-up. I'll be able to let everybody know when, but ultimately, man, the basis for me, like I said, the basis for me doing this was because, again, everybody that's on here are people that I see on social media and know in real life. And I know that you don't fake about your relationship. You don't fake about your marriage. Y'all are very, like you said, very transparent, whether we talking or you making a post. And with Bug and DJ definitely being very, very transparent. Y'all do the Healthy Marriage 101. So I appreciate everybody for joining the conversation because, again, I want us to get these. The more we have these conversations, like you said, the more people will see it and say, you know what, I can do that.
Yep.
I can be
Exactly.
married. I can have a successful relationship. I can, have a family. I can have a family. Because like I said, I just really feel like social media and TV, again, reality TV has really clouded this. I mean, think about it. How many television shows do we have with married couples that we haven't seen really since like the Cosby Show, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
It don't make for good TV.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And that's the bad. But that's the thing of it now. It don't make for good TV, but it's becoming a point now where the younger generation don't think that something like what we all are in is cool to do.
That's a
Like,
perfect plan.
I've heard youngins say, "Man, you married now? I ain't doing that dumbass shit." And I'm like, "What's dumb about it?" I said, "You've been married before? No. So what's dumb about being married?"
Yeah, right.
Tell me something that's dumb about it.
That
Well, because you gotta. I said so, and it made me think about what Kamala said to me, and I asked him. I said, "So what happens when you in the bathroom and you need somebody hand you the toilet paper? What do you do?"
See, you know what people's problem is, because when they make those type of remarks, a lack of self-control. That's all it is, a lack of self-control. You feel like that when you are independent and you are self-centered, like Coach was saying earlier, he had gotten to that point where he was so self-centered because he had, been disconnected from a relationship for so long. But people get to a point where they don't have any self-control and they don't feel like they will succeed in something like this. And this is why they won't do it. They're afraid of failure. Number one, they'll never admit it, but most people are afraid of failure. They've come from broken households. They've come from divorced parents. Most people we grew up with didn't have 2-parent households, and stuff like that. So they normalize not being in healthy relationships. And that's just what it is. They've normalized that stuff, and it trickles down to the children from this generation. Like, I look at my sons and even my daughter too, but I look at my sons, both of my sons my sons are 22 and 23, and both of them have been with their girlfriends since they were like 17. They not into cheating on their girlfriends. They're not into stepping out. You know why? Because they see something different. And my husband teaches them differently. And I make sure that the same way my son not going to do this to you, you're not going to do this to him. So, and I just think that we've normalized being, just like you said, the TV, the stigma that they placed over, especially in our community. Like, this is unheard of for there to be a 2-parent household. Like, I'm a big advocate for 2-parent household. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might ain't work in the first marriage or in the first relationship, but we're going to correct this thing, and now we back together, just like Ice and Kiana. They have Zay, or whatever the case may be. He's still in a 2-parent household. When he go home, he's still in a 2-parent household. You know what I'm saying? So different things like that. I just think that we got to keep pushing stuff like this so people can understand that this is normal. This is the real normal.
This is the real
You know what
thing.
I'm saying? Like people just don't think, and the lack of confidence in themselves and the fact of being able to control themselves make them believe that they need more. I know because I've been there. It make you believe that you need more. And that's a trick of the enemy. You don't need no more. You only can do whatever this man can do, that man can do. Trust me when I tell you. They ain't doing too much different. They lasted 5 minutes and it's over. It is what it is.
No,
You know what I'm saying? No,
little
let me
bit more
stop.
than
I'm just
5
joking.
minutes.
I'm just saying, y'all
I
know
was
what I
ready
mean.
to say,
But no,
hold up.
Give me 7. Give me 7. Can I get 7 minutes?
7.5. Let me take my
That's
time.
7.5, DJ. You know what I mean?
Let me take my time.
You gotta give me like at least 8. I need at least 8 more.
I'm just joking, but I'm no for real though. All jokes aside, like it's literally I think have a lot to do with self-control and the fear of failure. I think it's the fear of failure because they've seen so many people fail at it that they don't think that it's really possible. So it's good to bring, positive conversations like this so that people can understand that, regardless of what stage you are in, whether you're just courting right now and trying to figure it out, or you just got married and you're very young in your marriage, or you've been in your marriage for a minute, or you're seasoned. It doesn't matter. It's let's normalize doing it. Let's normalize starting where Mikey and Rita is and courting, and us only courting together and not being with 55 other people, and then kindly graduating up the ladder to get to this point where we're seasoned now. So that's just my opinion on it. I just think that because we were created to be codependent. So, it's meant for us to be codependent, but people don't want to do it because they're scared they're gonna fail, or they're self-control. They just can't control themselves, and that's just it.
We've had people ask us to start a podcast to help other couples, and I swear we talked about it before, but like just sitting here looking at all y'all, like I'm thinking like we might need to do this more on a regular, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've literally had people inbox me and say, can you and your wife start a podcast or something, because we love y'all relationship? And I'm like, we ain't perfect, but I mean, what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can say about us is we ain't fake, and we have come to the point where we're not gonna sit here and put something out there that ain't real. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we also don't feel like we counselors, but we've had people come to us that we actually have sat with and be like, how do y'all make it work? How do y'all make it work? You know what I'm saying? And we was in marriage counseling. Our marriage counselors told us, we feel like y'all gonna take over our job and be the marriage counselors of this ministry. And I'm like, huh? What? But I feel like everybody on this joint right here got so much to offer from so many different perspectives. Like, we could talk outside of this or whatever, but I feel like we might be able to help some people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm definitely with it, and
I'll help Rita. I don't want to help Mikey.
Somebody say something. That voice back, yo.
Hey,
I can't with y'all.
It's a family episode, yo. We're not doing that.
It's not even the Spur Fest.
Now, I definitely think that we can do this again. I'm trying to figure out, like, I would like for us all to be in the same place and just record it and then post
that
it.
would be good.
That would be dope.
And so I'll holler at Mikey some more. We can all figure out how to coordinate that to happen. But again, I keep saying it, but like this conversation turned out a lot different than I thought. And when I say that, what I mean is usually like what I've been trying to do, especially with this next round of conversations, is kind of have an outline of the direction I want the conversation to go in, so that it's not so that we not really getting stuck on one topic. You know what I mean? But I don't feel like that happened. You know what I mean? I feel like the conversation went exactly the way it was supposed to do. Everybody has made the points that was needed to be made as far as for tonight. And that's one thing me and Mike have been talking about, how the conversations come back full circle. At the end of the day, when we first start off thinking that it's going to go one way and it goes another. I appreciate all of y'all for joining the conversation. I did on Facebook. I don't know if I invited all of y'all, but I did start a group on Facebook called the Black Love Gang. So
You see that?
I think I might have added y'all to it. Check your groups and see.
Okay.
If not, make sure you let me know and I can add y'all to it, and we can share this group and like let people know right now. I mean, we can start right there. Anything that you have dealing with relationships, please feel free to post it. Bug and DJ, when y'all do the Healthy Marriage 101, please post it. In that group.
So we're coming back next month. I had to finish up school. We'll be back next month.
I got you. But when you do it, please feel free to share it in the group. Ice, I see you've been posting up. You usually post on Tuesdays. When you get a chance, post that in the group. Mikey, Rita, I encourage y'all the same thing. Rick and Chris too. I believe I did add everybody. This one we were supposed to do the battle of the sexes. I think that's when I made the group originally. But it should be on Facebook. It's called Black Love Gang. It might be 2022 because I think I started it right before Christmas last year. But if you're not in there, if you don't see it, let me know and I'll definitely add you to it because it's open. But that's kind of why I started the group, to kind of have these conversations, or for people to be able to have make these type of posts and post it in there for other people to see. But again, the people that are on this panel, I asked all of y'all. Because I definitely feel like y'all embody what it means to be married, Black love, and all of that. You know what I mean? And I appreciate y'all. Y'all added so much more to this conversation than I expected. I figured we'd be on here joking about being married, this, that, or whatever. But it definitely went in a lane that I'm happy that it went to. Thank y'all for being candid. Thank y'all for being open and sharing your feelings. And you know, just sitting here with us for the past 2 hours, you know, because you could have been anywhere else. You know, you could have been chilling. Mikey usually be asleep by like 9:30. He getting old, so you know what I mean. You gotta take his vitamins and go bed. You know what I mean?
Rita old ass.
But
usually when they do this
wake up
podcast,
5
y'all
o'clock,
don't
yo.
sleep in the background. I
Go
ain't
sleep
gonna hold you.
3:30.
I ain't gonna hold you. I be dead on.
but nah. I
Pamela
thank y'all
Claus
again.
don't scratch you in the bed.
There you go.
I'm asking you a
Sure.
question. This is the last question.
What's the question?
Pamela Claus
I
scratch
just want to
you.
know.
It's something
I
you
just
go
want to know
bed.
how long Peter pluck his fleas out his bag.
Oh Lord.
You go-
Here we
I'm just
go.
trying to find out how y'all keep sheets on the
Here we
bed
go.
with
Him
them
and Gabe are
claws.
together.
So the family show just went out the window like 30
Right.
seconds
Just
ago.
throw it all away.
So
Yeah.
we are now
Appreciate y'all for coming on though.
into BT Uncut section.
I like keeping it like this because I don't like scripture. I don't like when stuff be scripted. I like when people just can feel free to talk. Like we go anywhere. That's one of the best things about this, the way we do things. And sitting back, I mean, just think about it. I used to talk for a long ass time.
I said
No,
that.
but listen, this what I'm saying.
I told him
We
that.
all sit back and listen. There's no whole bunch of keep cutting you off. Then you stop talking about your topic to talk about something else. Sometimes you gotta listen. You know what I mean? I don't care how long you take to get your point across. I love to talk, but I'm not married, so I'm good with sitting back listening. You know what I'm saying? And it's real refreshing to actually hear success stories. All we hear is bad shit. All we see is people beefing on. I can't even watch TV sometimes. We always try and find comedies.
Facts.
It's very seldom we watch violent movies. We damn sure don't watch no ratchet TV. And when Love and Hip Hop first came out, that was my shit.
Insane.
I can't watch that shit no more at all. Like it don't even come on the TV. That shit corny. But nah, real talk, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all. because we passed the time. But I appreciate y'all, and I just wish people out there would put more positive things. Social media is only bad when it's being used bad. It's only good when it's being used good. People need to see happy relationships, because the best way to keep us apart is to keep the men and the women divided. Keep us wanting to have one night stands for pleasure. That's the best way. You can't have no power couples. You won't have no power couples. You won't have no black structure soon.
Right.
We taking everything traditional away. We don't even hang out with our families on holidays like we used to. If it ain't your structure in your household, damn what everybody else think or say. Only you know what's going inside your household.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm hearing and I'm seeing a lot of people right now are breaking up and they failing each other.
But not us, goddammit. You and Ice made sure me and C. Allen stayed together, and I thank y'all for that.
You know damn well. My favorite couple.
Thank you. He was trying to leave me.
Before we
man, get my wife back, yo. Damn, man. I said, man, I'm gonna put it in work.
No. Hey,
I'm like, money.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all for joining. This is the end of Let Me Talk the podcast. We thank y'all. Next week, I'm gonna be by myself. Yeah, Let Me Talk the podcast with C. Allen.
Hey Cam, I had 2 words. I had 2 words.
C. Allen.
Go home.
Easy.
Right. No
That's
guest.
all you got.
Go home.
That
No
was
guest.
it.
You know, I ain't gonna be no guest next week. I'm gonna be by myself.
That's all they talk.
Me and Esquire. That's from now on. Esquire gonna be. You know what I mean? But nah. Everybody, before we go, if it's a young couple that's out there listening right now, and you had one piece of advice you could give them that might help them along the way, further in their relationship, what would it be? Rick and Chris, I'm gonna start with y'all.
Well, one piece of advice I can say is, only advice I got really is what I had to do is, before you can find your next, you have to get yourself together first. You have to do the evolution. You have to do the work before you can really, in my opinion, this is just Rick speaking. So to me, for me to be ready for Chris, I had to clean myself up. You don't get into a relationship thinking that the other person is going to fix you. Just like Melonia said, her job's not to fix me, and my job not to fix her. You fix yourself, you do the work yourself, and then once you're a whole person, then you can come be a whole person with somebody else, and now you're a power couple. Yeah. So do the work first on yourself before you try to get involved, and also shut the door of your past before you move on to your next.
Yep.
So end whatever needs to be ended before you go on to the next. Get it done.
Yep.
And if
that's right there.
If it's lingering relationships, if it's month-long one night stands, whatever, and you're ready for your next, end it, and then move on to your next. You can't be open up a new door while you still got the wind blowing from the other joint. So yes, end it first.
Yeah, and don't go into a relationship thinking that you're gonna change them to what you want them to be, because you're gonna come to find that that's not gonna work.
It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Yeah. If I can say one last thing, and because this is something that's actually been on me for pretty much the last week, which is basically what Chris said about changing somebody else. Especially if you're like a religious person and you mess with somebody who may not be as religious, whatever. The number one thing you got to remember is you're not their God. Right. It's not on you to change them, and they don't need to change for you. It's not about them. Trying to make you happy, trying to, please you, trying to check all your boxes. You don't lord over them. They got to be who they want to be. They got to be who they are. Either you can accept it or you can't. Either you got the patience for it or you don't. But, you don't rule over anybody. You got to let them make their own life decisions, and you guys got to see how you fit in with it, or if they can, meld with you. Yep. All right, I'm done now. I didn't pull the ice time, so that's what the OnlyFans folks, y'all got to pay to hear extra words.
Hey, we're gonna go, Ice. We're gonna go to you next. Because I feel like that was a wonderful segue to you, sir.
Be short, bro.
I used to cut himself off.
You hung up.
Can you just go in that?
Oh man.
Oh,
That dude,
man.
yeah.
Ice, wow. Malone and DJ, please. You had a bit of advice that you could give to a young couple out there that's looking, to further their relationship and take it to that next level. What advice would you give them?
Number one, communication is key. Keep an open line of communication with your spouse at all times. So that way, because people are not mind readers, people are not psychic. People need to know what you're thinking and how you feel. So keep an open line of communication. Be free with expressing your feelings, whether you're on the male side or the female side. Definitely express your feelings and what you're going through, because that keeps down a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of confusion. And then last but not least, I would say keep other folk out your business. Everybody don't need to be in your business. If you have those more seasoned couples or a counselor or coach, and it's nothing wrong with marital counseling. Nothing wrong with it. People think that you get premarital counseling and then it's over. No, this is something that you need to do throughout your marriage to keep your marriage strong. And you don't have to be going through nothing to have marital counseling. Like, people think you got to be going through something. You do not have. It's so you don't have to go through a whole bunch of craziness. You know why Chris and Eric, Chris and Rick, they doing so well and not having those arguments? Because they have an open line of communication, clearly. Because you can have conversations and debate some stuff, but that doesn't mean it have to turn into a full-fledged argument. That's a conflict is a part of human nature, and that's okay. You just need to know how to control it. So I would say keep people out, have an open line of communication, and your marriage, your relationship will thrive.
Yeah, that is number one. I'm gonna go with my first point, and that's patience. We gotta have patience with each other. Nothing is a microwave blessing. You know what I mean? You gotta go ahead and cook this thing out. You gotta season it. You might gotta let it simmer. You gotta get the sauce right. You gotta get everything right. You know what I mean? Not just stick it in the microwave and have it come out. It comes out. You gotta have patience with this thing, man. It's going to grow. It's going to nourish. It's just like if you want to plant, say, some roses, you know what I'm saying? And you starting from the seed. If you keep digging up the dirt and seeing if the seed germinate or not, it's not going to grow. So you got to sit there and just let it have patience and let it sprout up and become what it's going to become. So you sit up there, you have patience, you learn each other, you talk to each other, and you let your relationship sprout up the way it's supposed to be sprouted up.
Word. Ice. Keon. Do you have any part? Hey, yo, listen.
She had a conversation with him before and the blackout. Look, I'm going first this time. You follow up.
She said, pull his ear if he start taking
it on, sis.
But if that young couple come to you and ask you for that one piece of advice to help their relationship get stronger, grow stronger, what would that advice be?
Cut off all the outside noise. It's okay for you to have, like a person that you look up to, that you are comfortable and confident in getting advice from and, talking things out with, but having all these people in your ear, like, girl, I wouldn't let him do this to me. I wouldn't let him talk to me like this. I wouldn't do this and da-da-da-da-da. Get them people out your ear. Everybody's not going to have the same, opinion that you're going to have. Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. Have that personal, person that you are comfortable with, that you can confide in, to give you wise counsel. That's the most important part. Wise counsel. Not just out here just giving you stuff like, girl, on Love and Hip Hop, they do such and such. Cardi B and her husband do this. No, wise counsel is the most important thing that I could ever tell anybody. Wise counsel.
All I can add to that is communication. Open open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. And one thing, some people just so quick to just shut down. They feeling some type of way, and they don't say how they feeling because they really don't know how their partner is going to react. Sometimes it don't matter how your partner reacts. Just get it off your chest, because sometimes as long as I put it out there in the atmosphere, it can't change if I don't put it in the atmosphere. So that was like one of our biggest things when we came to this. We want an open relationship, because I think we both been through situations where it's like you can't let stuff build up to the point where it explodes. That's how volcanoes erupt, because it builds up, then it erupts. And once it erupts, it's hard to stop that eruption. It's hard to stop that lava from flowing out. So sometimes you have to just be open and be communicative with your person who you with. And like she said, keep everybody else out of it. Communicate with your partner, not your best friends, not your mother, not your father, because you got to think about this. Once you get over something, that person you've been communicating with might not get over it. Just because you got over it, they might haven't got over it. So communicate with your partner, and as long as you and your partner is good with it, it don't matter who else not good with it.
Right. Mikey and Rita, there's a couple out there that's just starting out, the courting and dating, and they ask you, what do you do to make it work? What would be the advice that you would give them?
My advice would be have friends that are couples as well. When you have so many single friends that are still living the lifestyle of a single person, it don't mix well, because when you having an issue, you go tell that person, and then it becomes a whole nother thing. And then you just open the door for not wise counsel. What you need is wise counsel. So personally, I don't share anything unless it's with somebody that I have that will give me wise counsel. Because if I have a disagreement with Mikey and I share with somebody else, just as was said, if me and him cool, the next day, you might still be harboring ill feelings towards him, and you'll hold that against him. So I would just say, if you're single, you have your single friends, but when you're in a relationship or when you're married, have those friends that you can confide and you can hang out with and, have a good time with, instead of so many single friends. So
mine is, and I'm very strict on this, is because of my experiences, is keep trying to mold people into what you want, or what you if you don't understand everything about me, sometimes that's good. I need something that's just mine. So let me be Mikey, but I'm not saying let me run over top of you. You know what you expecting out of life. You know what type of things you want, you will and won't let happen. But don't try to make me change my whole identity to please you, because I'm not going to be happy. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. She don't want me because I don't do this. If you don't do it, she should do it. But if the things that she don't do, you should be able to pick that part up for her too. We got to stop trying to make people to lose their total identity to make you happy. I found that in my own stuff for the years that I was single, and every time I talked to somebody, I had to be a certain way for everybody except for the few people that was cool with me. And I refused to reduce my identity. I'm not going to be disrespectful to you, but I am going to be Mike Somerville too. I can't lose everything, and that's just what it is for me.
Right. So you had to give advice to somebody in a relationship or marriage, what would it be? A piece of advice.
I smoke a lot of weed. State of Maryland said I could. That's how I stick around. No, seriously, the communication thing is definitely a must. You have to be open with that. You have to have that level of trust with your partner. And that's another thing. You can't be in a relationship and you don't trust the person that you're with, because it's not going to work, because you're always going to be looking for something. You're always going to be suspicious. You're never going to be satisfied. Everything is always going to be an issue. And that's the one thing I can say about me and C. Allen. Like, I don't hold no secrets. I'm an open book. Like, when we first started dating, I let him know what my situation was and allowed him to come along with me instead of me hiding the shit and then him finding out later on. You feel me? So definitely communication and trust. Those two things could definitely take you a long way, because I'm assuming when you're with somebody, you already love them, but you got to be able to communicate and you got to be able to trust them. Anything you want to add?
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, happiness is a self-starting emotion. You cannot get into a relationship to find happiness. You cannot pick a person based on how happy you think they will make you. When you say I do, you're not saying I do for what you already know. You're saying I do to the things you don't know are going to happen in the future. Sickness and health is not for what you already been through. That's for what's going to happen in the future. Better or worse is not for the arguments you had before you got to the altar. It's for those things that might happen after you say I do. So you always have to remember, we have a lot of people that look at marriage and call marriage the end result. It is not the end result. Marriage is not the end result. It is a goal, yes, but it is not the end result. If you look at marriage as an end result, then every time you have a dispute, it will be the end all be all. Every argument you have will be the end all be all, because you feel like you're at the finish line and the finish line is messed up. You are not at the finish line.
Get out of here.
You have broken one of those finish line tapes, but you have plenty more. You still got all the mile markers on the side of the highway of marriage that you're going to pass. Some of them you'll be able to see. Some of them you won't be able to see. But that's when you have to believe in the fact that your partner can see them, the ones that you can't. That's it. And don't let social media and love and hip hop tell you
How to be with your people.
how to be happy at all. But again, I thank everybody for joining the conversation. I appreciate y'all. And we all old, so everybody turn this stuff off and everybody go bathe, man.
Thanks, y'all. Love y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Love all y'all. Thank y'all for being a part. Thank you. Thank you.
Hawkins, Johnsons, Somervilles, McCalls.
Make sure she got scales on her back. She ain't got no scales on her back.
Good night.
Good night.
Rita, make sure it's Mikey in the bed and you're not cuddling with him.
Hey, that's enough. It's a family show.
The hair color is the same. I know you can get confused, boo.
It's a family show. Cut her off,
And Mikey.
It's a family show.
It's a family
show. It's a family show.
I love Rita. I love you, Rita.
Yeah, hey Rita, you always welcome to come through. If you bring people with you, just let us know. And so that way, if we gotta get more hot dogs, we can.
I know y'all gonna have glizzies.
Me and Rita really run this shit, y'all. You know, we let Al and Mikey. We let Al and Mikey host it, but we really run
Hang up. Hang up.
Thank y'all for joining us.
I love you, man. I call you tomorrow.
Thank y'all for joining us and to let me talk to Park. No, this was definitely a dope conversation, though, bro. I'm gonna go and archive this on YouTube, so it'll be on there. So y'all can go on YouTube and see it as soon as we log off. But love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Love you back.
I get up with y'all. Thank you.
All right. Good
All
night.
right. Peace.